Hello, hello. It's Tuesday. It feels like it's later in the week already, but it's Tuesday, which means we still have plenty of week left to reach our goals. I know a few of you posted your goals for the week in the group yesterday during Monday morning accountability, and I know at least one group member has already achieved their goal for the week and had to set a new one. So I hope you guys are having an awesome week so far and are already starting to work towards those goals. I'm having a pretty good week so far. Honestly, I've been a little under the weather, but aside from that, I've been kind of a pitching machine the last couple of days for a few of my clients, and I'm excited to get their little pitches out into the world and wait to hear what comes back. The waiting's the worst part, even when it's me, even when it's me waiting for a client versus waiting for something for myself, it's still impossible to wait. I just don't have a ton of patience. I always remember the worst waiting had to be waiting for my results from the bar exam. You took the bar exam in July and we didn't get our results until October 30th. So that was pretty brutal. And you were already working and you knew that if you didn't pass the bar exam, your firm could fire you. So that was probably the worst waiting, but I still hate waiting to hear back from television stations and magazine editors and all the other people that I pitch every day. And it's so exciting when those little emails come in and we've got juicy details we can share with our clients. So lots of pitches went out yesterday and today, and hopefully we will start getting some fun responses back. So today's topic is about how to hire a publicist. Where do you find one? How do you know that you found the right one? And what questions I think you should be answering, because I am fully willing to admit that I'm not everybody's cup of tea and I might not be right for your business. So I'm not here to sell you on my services. I will tell you how I work. I will tell you how I know some other people in the industry work. I'll tell you the questions to ask, because first and foremost, I want you to work with someone reputable, okay? I want you to work with someone who knows what they're doing. I want you to be investing this money in the right place. So it doesn't have to be me, but I want you to find someone who knows what they are doing and can really help you grow your expertise and grow your business. If you're here, say hello. I would love to know who's here with us live, but I'm going to go ahead and get started because I am doing a podcast interview after this, and so I need to get it moving along. So I will go ahead. I did get a couple of questions from people in the group who had specific things they wanted answered about how to find a publicist and how to hire a publicist, what a publicist really does, how you measure success. Great questions I got in. So let's start with how do you find actually, you know what? I was gonna say, how do you find a publicist? Let's start with what does a publicist do, okay? It is going to vary a little bit from one person to the next or one firm or agency to the next. There are definitely whole firms and whole agencies who can help you with this kind of work. So I'm just going to give you a general idea of what I think most publicists do, but that's one of the things you're going to want to ask them about. You're going to want to ask what types of opportunities have they gotten for their clients in the past? How do they approach opportunities? What kind of opportunities did they help you with? Maybe some publicists don't help you get public speaking gigs, or maybe some publicists only help you get local media. So, for example, one of my current clients actually came to me through a local PR person, and the terms can be used somewhat interchangeably. Some people who I would consider to be publicists say they're in public relations, okay? So they don't necessarily have to have the publicist job title. They might also have a job title that's something around PR, or even maybe around marketing. Most of the titles I see are either publicist or something around public relations. So everyone's going to have kind of a different specialty. And one of my current clients I got through a local PR person who felt like they had done all they could do for the client in the local market, and she was ready for more national coverage. And so I was brought in to get the national coverage. So it's going to depend on where you're trying to get your visibility in terms of the publicist that's going to be the right fit for you. So if you're looking for local media, you're wanting to get in your local newspaper and on your local TV station and maybe radio stations and that kind of stuff, a local person might be best for you. Somebody who already has connections and ties to the media members in your community. Now, that's not to say that somebody who has a more national practice like I do can't get you into local outlets. I get my clients into local outlets all the time. But if you want to be really hyper-focused local, especially if you have a brick and mortar location. A local PR person or publicist might be best for you. So if you don't know someone, certainly ask around when you're at networking events and business kind of events in your community. Ask other people who they use for publicity and PR. Get some recommendations. That's always great when you can talk to current clients of someone and get a feel for how they work with their clients. And then beyond that, there's always Google. You could Google, public relations Atlanta, and you'd get who knows how many public relations firms or Publicist Atlanta. I'm sure you'd find a ton too. I really like to hire people who I meet in Facebook groups because I've developed this kind of community here on Facebook. There are certain groups that I've been active in for months and months and months. And when I'm looking for somebody, the first thing I do is ask for a recommendation in those Facebook groups. So that's going to be different for everybody. But there are some advantages to having that local person if you've got a business that really draws the majority of your clientele from your local market. Beyond that, and if you're trying to get national coverage, you're trying to establish yourself as a national or global, international expert, then you might want someone who has a more national practice and who is comfortable approaching national outlets and has experience placing clients on outlets all over the country. I work primarily with clients in the United States. I've done just a tiny bit with a client in Canada. I had somebody approach me about helping them in New Zealand, and to be honest, I told her that I didn't think that was going to be the right fit for me. I don't have any contacts there. I don't know if the way we pitch here in the States is the same as you would pitch in New Zealand. I certainly don't want to pitch somebody and do something in another country or in another culture that is offensive or just inappropriate or out of the norm. So I have really limited my business to the United States. That's where I'm comfortable. That's where my contacts are. I understand how to pitch here. I can land clients media here all over the country. So that's my specialty. And so it's really going to depend on who you're trying to reach and where you're trying to get coverage. And then I talked about the fact that some publicists, some PR folks don't do certain areas. So I know there are some publicists who don't really help people land speaking gigs, whereas that's something I do help my clients with because I do a lot of public speaking and I have enough experience in that area. I feel comfortable looking for opportunities, pitching for those opportunities, thinking of outside of the box ideas. I have a good idea of what you should get paid for things, what you can pitch that allows you to get paid more. That's a space I feel comfortable in. So it is something that I do, but it's not something all publicists do. So you're going to want to talk to whoever you're interviewing about the types of things they feel comfortable pitching you for. Do they pitch for podcast interviews? Do they pitch for radio? Do they pitch for quotes in the media? Do they pitch to get you TV segments? Do they pitch for public speaking? Whatever it is that you're thinking you really want help with, you need to make sure you ask questions about whether they do that, where their success has been previously, what have they been able to do for clients in that space previously. I have one book author, and so now I've had more book authors coming to me. They want to know, do I know how to book them for book signings and do blog book tours and that sort of thing. And I did that for myself when my books came out. Now I'm helping one of my clients who's an author do those kind of things. So I'm comfortable with that. But someone who hasn't worked with authors might not be. Then there's publicists who specialize in only working with authors, and that's their sweet spot, and that's all they do. So it's really going to depend on your goals and where you're looking to get visibility as to the questions you're going to want to ask somebody when you interview them about their ability to get you in those publications or in those places and help you gain visibility in those areas. So just ask for examples of people they've worked with previously and where they've got them placement for whatever it is that you're looking for. Don't feel bad asking very direct, very specific questions about that. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit because people asked questions in the group earlier and I want to make sure that I get to everything. Okay, Amber asks, are publicists paid monthly or commission like an agent where you get paid when the client gets paid? That varies a little bit. I would tell you the majority of publicists charge a monthly retainer for their services. That is how I work. My current retainer right now is $1,500 a month, and I don't do commission. There would be a few circumstances where I would maybe consider it, but here's where it's tough. Some of the coverage that we're getting you as a publicist doesn't have a monetary value. I'm not comfortable assigning media value. So I know some publicists will tell you if you go on television that they assign a media value to that. So the way that that works, and it's kind of an old school PR thing to do, and it is not something that I do, and I'll explain why. But the way that that works is if you got a 3-minute segment on a morning television show, they would ask for the rate card for the network for that show, which is what they sell their commercials for during the show. If a 30-second commercial is $500 and you were on for 3 minutes, then they would tell you the media value of your appearance was $3,000. So let's say their commission, like I have an agent, I have a literary agent, and I have an agent for my TV work, and their rate is anywhere from 15 to 20%. And so I would then, if I charged like this, which I don't, then I would be getting a percentage of this like made up media value. I just don't believe in media valuations. I believe that there are a lot of indirect things that come to you through those media appearances. It's not necessarily that the people who see you on TV are going to jump on your website and buy from you, whether you have a service or a product. Honestly, it's easier for people who have products than for people who have services. But I think that it's leveraging those media appearances on your website and on your social media to establish yourself as an expert, to make you look more credible when people who are already following you or who come to follow you down the road jump on your site or on your social media and they see that you've been published at Forbes and you've been on San Diego Living, and you've got a piece in Glamour next month, and whatever it is, those things credential you. And I just don't know how you assign a value. I mean, I know how you do. I know in the old school PR sense how they assign media values to that, but I think it's kind of fuzzy math. And I don't know very many publicists. I can't even think of one off the top of my head who charges on a commission basis. The only time I've really seen that, I have seen some people for public speaking who charge on a commission basis. So if they get you a paid speaking gig, then they get a percentage of that. I think there are people who specialize in that. I don't, because I don't really take on very many clients whose primary goal or only goal is public speaking. Actually, I have one client right now who one of her main goals is public speaking, but we're also pitching her for guest blogs and for television and for other things. I have another client coming on board next month who is more public speaking, and I believe she told me that she previously hired somebody who did do it on a commission basis. So I think those people are out there, but I really focus more on offering a wide range of services to people. So also pitching them for guest blogs and for quotes in the media and TV segments and, helping them market their book. There's a lot of different things I do with my clients. And so I do it on a retainer basis. So my retainer, I needed to put some sort of parameters on it. And so what I tell folks when they're talking to me and their potential clients is that the retainer guarantees you a minimum of 10 pitches per month. It is rarely ever only 10. It's almost always more. As a matter of fact, I pitched one client for 7 different magazines today. So in one day, she almost got her 10, and actually she's already way past her 10 for the month. She's got a book coming out next month, and so we've been pitching her pretty heavy for events and book signings and magazine articles, and it's been a really heavy month. So it really depends on what we're pitching. I have another client who we are not pitching right now because she's redesigning her website, and we're working with the web developer hand in hand to make sure her website has the things we need to help grow her expertise and to position her for the opportunities we're going to pitch her for. And so we have an agreement with her that pitching is on hold this month. So for me, everything is very much individualized. There's no one size fits all strategy. And that's one of the things I want to encourage you to ask somebody about. If you're interviewing somebody to be your publicist or to do your PR, ask them how they develop your strategy. Make them tell you what happens. So for me, what happens is we have a kickoff call. We dig really deep on your goals, short-term and long-term. What are you really hoping that I can help you accomplish? And then I put together a strategy, and I come back to you and I say, okay, like for one of my clients I started with this month, I told her, okay, you need to post a couple of things on Huffington Post. She has a login already. She had posted some things in the past, but the things she's previously posted are not relevant to her current niche. She's really changed her business a little bit, and they're not relevant to the things we're going to be pitching. And so I said, okay, let's get a couple of posts up on Huffington. Since you've already got the rights to post there, let's strategically target things that are in your niche, topics you want to have blogs for. Then I'm going to use those to go pitch to get you on a bigger outlet. And we're going to use, this to pitch you to get on TV. And these are the podcasts we're going to target because here's who their audience is, and here's how big their social media following is. Everything I do is very strategic. It's not just about coming in and, oh, I have connections at these 2 radio stations and this TV station, and so that's where you're going to get on. Everything I do is very strategic. If I think you should be doing something, I'm going to tell you why you should be doing it. If I think we have to do things in a certain order, I'll explain to you why we're doing them in that order. There's a strategy and there's a reason for everything we do and a reason for the order we do it in. So that's one of the things I would encourage you to ask a publicist or a PR person when you interview them is, how do you decide what to pitch me for? And really get them to explain to you how they develop the strategy. Now, on a discovery call or during an initial interview, they're not necessarily going to give you their strategy because they don't want you necessarily to take it and run with it and do it on your own. And that's actually something I'm going to come back to in a second. But they should at least tell you how their process works in the beginning. How do they work on your strategy? When can you expect it? Will you receive something written where there'll be a phone call about it? How will your input play into it? Those kinds of questions are all things that I would ask. That kind of leads me to something I wanted to make sure I hit on, which is this idea of like hiding the ball. So somebody came to me a couple months ago and had been working with someone else, and they told me that that person wouldn't show them the pitches they were making to TV stations or radio stations or whatever it was. The client didn't see what the actual pitch said because the publicist said that was her work product and she wasn't going to show it. And I understand the concern. I mean, a client could take your pitches and then they could try to do it themselves. They could kind of get your format and do it themselves. But the way I look at it is that's fine because that's not my ideal client. My ideal client is not someone who wants a do-it-yourself sort of solution. Now, that's what my upcoming course is going to be for. It's going to be for people who want the do-it-yourself solution. But for my retainer services, the people I want as retainer clients are busy, okay? They're busy in their business and they understand that there are other things in their business that only they can do and that those are the things they should be focusing on every day. So they want to outsource pitching and promotion to me. And that's one of the questions I got today that somebody asked me to address is, what does a publicist really do? And they asked me, is it essentially outsourcing pitching and promotion? Yes, okay? It's, I'm doing the legwork, I'm leveraging my connections or I'm making new connections. I'm actually emailing the pitches, I'm following up with phone calls, I'm researching the outlet to find out what angles work. You know, I'm digging around and I'm doing everything possible to get you the coverage that you want. All you have to do is sit back. You tell me your story. In the beginning, I will send you pitches to approve. I never mind clients seeing my pitches. I'm going to send it to you because I want you to tell me, did I get your story correct? Is there something I left out or did I misrepresent something? And then after the first month or so, I really have had enough back and forth that I know someone's story. I know the types of things we want to be pitching for. And so I'm able to pitch going forward without having to come to you. And that frees you up to work on the things in your business that only you can do. I'm a firm believer you should only work on the things that only you can do, and the things that can be outsourced, you should outsource. And I have not always been good about that. I think I've admitted before I'm not a good delegator, but I'm getting better. Ask Gabby and Megan who work with me. I have been delegating like crazy the last few weeks, and it's amazing the extra time I've had, the attention I've been able to give to my clients, the attention I've been able to give to myself and to my husband, and the free time I've been able to develop, and it's been really awesome. So I want clients who want that, who want to delegate and outsource, because what I love is the pitching. I love coming up with the story and the angle and writing the pitch and actually making the pitch and getting you on the show or getting the feature in the newspaper or whatever it is we're working on. So I don't mind showing my pitches, and I would not feel comfortable, you know, me personally, if I was hiring someone, I would not feel comfortable if I didn't know how they were pitching me. So I would want to see them because I don't want there to be a mystery about what people are saying about me. I mean, you're representing me and my brand. There is a great advantage, I think, to having someone pitch you. I think it makes you look like a bigger deal, makes you look more important and more credible if you've hired a publicist who's helping pitch you. And they don't have to CC you on every email. I don't CC my clients on every email, but I have them approve the initial pitches when we're getting to know each other. I forward them the responses when we get them so that they can see them. There's no hiding the ball. So that's kind of how I feel about that, and it's probably something I would ask about when I was interviewing somebody. I'm just glancing at my questions here. I want to make sure that I answered everything. Another question Amber had was exactly how would you know if a publicist was being effective? Are you landing the things you wanted to land? I think it's different for everybody because it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I have one client who just wants to get quoted in national media as much as possible because he's trying to establish himself as a national expert. So when we land him a quote on ESPN, his topic is sports. So when we land him a quote in ESPN the magazine or in a Sports Illustrated piece or USA Today, I mean, that's success. Seeing his quotes in those articles is success. For someone who, wants a TV segment or a book signing, booking those, that's how you know it's effective. Are you landing the things you wanted to land? Now, it's not going to happen in the first couple of days. Sometimes it takes a little pitching and you need to be patient. And if you're working with somebody and you're sort of nervous or you think that it's taking too long, ask them about the process. Ask them how long they expect it to take. What are they doing? When are they following up? Don't micromanage them. I mean, I know I certainly don't like to be micromanaged, but what I do is I create what I call an activity log or a pitch log that I share with my clients. So I put it in Dropbox. It's an Excel spreadsheet. And every time I pitch them for something, I put it in that log, the date, the outlet, what I pitched. If we get a response, there's a response column. I've got kind of a notes column where I put notes to myself if we come across things. And at any time, my clients can log in and see that spreadsheet and see exactly what we've done for them so far that month. So I think if you're working with somebody, it's completely reasonable to ask them to update you in some manner, whether that's sending you something once a week, or maybe it's something you get at the end of the month with your billing, or maybe it's like what I do where you can access that log at any time. So I think it's perfectly reasonable to ask for something like that. And I think the way you know somebody's being effective is, are you landing the things you wanted to land? If you said you wanted to be in magazines, are you landing magazine pieces? If you said you wanted speaking gigs, are you getting them? Now, speaking gigs have a long lead time, actually, so do magazine articles. So some things are going to come along a lot faster than other things, but hopefully the lines of communication will be open with the person who's pitching you, and you'll have some idea that the pitches are going out and that they're following up on those pitches. And I'm just looking to see if I answered all the other questions. I think that's all the questions that I had from the group earlier today. If you are tuning in live and you have a question, feel free to ask it. I will certainly check back later to see if anybody leaves questions in the comments, and I'm happy to answer it. If you want to ask something specific about my services, or you want to ask something about just how the whole thing works, how to find people, where you should be looking for somebody, the questions you should ask them. Again, I really genuinely am here to help you. I want you to find the person who's the right fit for you. I am not the right fit for everybody. I talk to people on the phone who I tell that I'm not the right fit and that they should go see someone else. And if I know someone else, I refer them. I am not the right publicist for everyone. I fully recognize that. But I'm the right publicist for some of you. Hopefully all my clients think I'm the right publicist for them. And I know there's a few of you in this group that I hope are clients one day who I think are good fits for me too. But even if I'm not a good fit, feel free to ask me a question. Feel free to share with me anything you're concerned about if you're talking to somebody else, and I will be happy to help you come up with the right questions to ask or the right things to look into to ensure you are hiring the right person, because hiring a publicist can be really expensive. I know when I was looking for a publicist when my book was coming out, the cheapest publicist I found was $2,500 a month. I've heard Selena Sue say before that when she was doing one-on-one publicity work with people, she was at $4,000 a month. So the prices really range. So it's not a cheap thing to hire a publicist, but if you're someone whose business is really rocking and rolling, you don't want to be doing this stuff yourself. You want to work someone else's connections and let them take the lead on this. And you spend the time in your business on the things that only you can do, okay? So I don't see any questions. I am going to head off because I've got a podcast interview to do. But if you want to leave questions in the comments, I will come back and check on them later. And I hope everybody has a fabulous rest of the day. Thanks, guys.